Okay, well, our film's called Puppet Strings, and it's sort of a hybrid genre as it has elements of a psychological thriller, as well as some fantasy elements, especially shown through Zoe's character.
Oh, bit of fantasy, good.
Probably see. Yeah.
It's meant to be like someone's sleeping and then it's a dream. That someone's drawing in the dream.
It's like a premonition. Hannah has a premonition, and she's sort of like the creator. It's why it's called Puppet Strings, because she controls us in the dream.
Wow.
And I'm trying to get away from Zoe.
Wow.
And this can like lead on to actually happening in her real life and not just.
So we did have so many ideas, but I don't think some of it's quite functioned together.
Well, I mean, it sounds like
we
you
also had a lot of problems. So.
Well, but it sounds like you set yourself, quite a challenge, which is good. You want to be testing yourself. You don't want to be just doing the most kind of, boring, unoriginal idea, and throwing a bit of fantasy element to horror is the way forward. Really, that's how you stretch yourself. Good. I want to see it. Okay, good. So turn the lights off. Puppet Strings. Here we go. Final film for this year from Year 12. Right, round of applause for the girls, please. Turn the lights on, please, girls. Wow, I'm thoroughly freaked out before lunch. Okay. I don't know. When I was watching that, I was really kind of reminded of there's some kind of black and white sort of European horror films that are really kind of creepy and kind of messed up in lots of ways, but or purposefully. But that's kind of what the effect you were going for, and I think you pulled it off. Right, strengths. There were lots of things I liked about that. Anyone want to start off? Matt, yeah.
I thought the whole music over the top fitted really well with like the whole genre and like, the idea of the film. It was all that like freaky sort of music.
Yeah, it was. Where did you get that music from? Was it just a found track?
It's music or something. Because originally we thought of like a nursery rhyme,
yeah.
And then we sort of slow it down so it's like shows you
that
that's the
like
time.
an ice cream man sort of thing.
Yeah, that's not what you want, is it?
Yeah. So we sort of lowered the pitch as well because it was a lot higher in pitch, so it was quite scratchy.
But taking sound and manipulating it and trying to fit it to the images more than lots of media studies students bother doing. So I think that worked really well. It did fit, and you are trying to freak out your audience out to a certain extent. If for the opening 2 minutes of a film, I guess to a certain extent you're trying to encourage your audience to watch on, but at the same time you're trying to encourage your audience to stop watching on because it's like a bit of sort of Katie.
I like the close-up shots between the two, like when Zoe looked quite scary, which was like really effective, and like the editing was really good between them.
Yeah, I think the editing was massively better than the last version I saw, the last week or the week before.
Well, we've changed so much.
Yeah, and you've timed it up massively, massive. It's so much better what you've done to it. Intercutting between lots of different things rather than having a linear narrative.
What do you want to do, like juxtaposition between me and Zoe?
Yeah, definitely. It's improved significantly, I think, over that short time period. Hannah?
The voice at the end was really effective as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, having a voiceover like that, again, is something that lots of music science students wouldn't bother doing, but it does have a massive impact. It shows you're trying to use kind of diegetic, well, it's not diegetic sound, is it? But you're trying to use kind of dialogue to a certain extent, not just rely on a track over the top. And I think the examiner, you know, like you know, the boys tried to do the one before, the examiner wants to see a combination of both, you know, both dialogue and another sound, and that's very hard to do, but it worked well. Any other areas of strength we can talk about? Who hasn't spoken much today? Ollie, what do you think?
I thought the black and white fitted with the horror well. I think it was good. Had it not been so dark, it might not have been as effective with that whole genre thing.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. I think, but you know, in terms of mise en scène, the colour scheme fitted nicely with the disarming effect you wanted to have on your audience. Good, absolutely. Where would the film have gone on from there, by the way, just out of curiosity?
Well, it completely changed from our actual original narrative.
They
so
often
we
do.
sort of went to our locations and then sort of looked at the environment and then sort of went from there.
Yeah.
It's almost as though we had ideas on the spot.
Yeah.
So I mean, we did have a planned thing, but we didn't really follow it at all, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Well, it kind of worked, didn't it? But yeah, something to think about for next year in terms of sort of, now you've done the whole process once, you're much better prepared to think about what you're going to produce. Okay. Any other thoughts from everyone before we talk about things to improve? What kind of stuff, by the way, I was going to ask you, what kind of audience is this aimed at? Have you made that clear in your blogs? Who and what you're aiming this particular kind of film at? 'Cause it's quite a niche film, isn't it, in lots of ways? So what have you said?
Sort of from the middle-aged people, maybe slightly upper 20s as well.
Mm.
And it's a sort of predominantly male but also female audience.
Why male?
Because on horror films, the genre, and like when we looked at The Grudge, which is very similar,
Yes.
The Grudge had like 55% male and 45% female, so it was quite balanced.
Yeah.
But it was mainly middle-aged people that watched.
Yeah, generally, like, you know, a male audience does go and watch a horror film. I always think it's slightly strange that in year 12, when kind of people are set a task to make a film, the first thing that often crops out to lots of groups' minds is they kind of want to film a girl walking on their own through the woods and following them. You know what I mean? It's like that's kind of often what people, throughout the country, the examiner mentions it every time in the exam report. You can get an A-star doing that kind of film. But it's interesting that's often that kind of idea is the first thing that crops up in people's heads. I want to kill someone in the woods. You know what I mean? That seems to be the common theme between year 12. I don't know why, what that says about, you know, 16, 17-year-olds, that that's the film they want to make, a death film, but they do. No, but you've got your own little spin on that, which is really nice. Okay, you four, having watched that on the big screen for the first time, obviously, and with the sound for the first time, anything you think might tinker with that or learn from that for next time?
Yeah,
Refilm more.
definitely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, sorry, do you want to say?
We started filming early and thought we had enough footage for what we wanted to do, but by the time we had edited it and stuff, we needed to refilm quite a bit, so we left it quite late to refilm.
Yeah.
And also the fact that I wasn't here for a week as well really put the schedule really behind.
I think starting as early as possible is vital.
Yeah.
Just lesson for this, I did a year 13 group, and there's a boy in there who's made the same mistake 2 years in a row, not enough footage. You know, he's trying to stretch it out as much as he can, but it's just not enough. The more footage you have, the tighter the shots can be, and the more you can, you're going to leave a lot of footage on the floor, you know, metaphorically on the floor, but actually it makes for a better film. You shoot as much as you possibly can. You're right. Okay, good. Out to the rest of the group, anything you got kind of spotted and thought that could be something to tinker with or learn from for next time, for the rest of us? Last couple of thoughts on this particular group's work. Originally, I was going to, if you'd shown me the film you showed me 2 weeks ago, I was going to kind of criticise the use of just having handheld camera, but actually some of your shots are much calmer now.
We had a mixture of handheld and
We
tripod.
refilmed
Yeah.
tripods.
Which is good. Which is a good that you went and refilmed. Lots of groups didn't and don't. They kind of take that footage and go, oh, I can't be bothered. Really, you know, that was a pain getting dressed up in their costumes, and I can't be bothered to go back up to Scotland. You know, and we're stuck with what we've got. But actually, being able to refilm shows you can make improvements.
Well, the last bit of filming we did was on Monday, so that was really
Well, you know, the deadline's still not over, is it? To a certain extent, people can still do that. But that's nice. And also, I think you showed that you can use. Was that filmed at school?
Yeah, it was filmed in
yeah.
the backfield.
Yeah.
Well, we had a mixture of different locations in terms of where we set it.
2 different fields.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And you know, different locations great, but actually you can use the school, the way that you shot it, you can use the school to create all sorts of different kinds of effects, to be honest with you.
Well, we also did, by the school canteen, there's like a bit of shrubbery, and that's where I was by the tree just looking out.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good because it had a lot of surrounding environment.
Yeah, good, absolutely, absolutely. No, I think you pulled that together nicely, and basically you pulled that together because you worked really hard over in the last week or so to make big improvements from the first draft, and that's clear from the final product. Good, well done. Round of applause for last week.